We're here. Let's talk about it. Chiefs, Ravens. What did I tell y'all about the Chiefs, man?
Played out exactly as I expected.
What did I tell y'all about the Chiefs? Don't count them out until I see them lose. I can't say they're gonna lose. Everyone's telling me they're gonna lose. Road game. I said until I see them lose, they will not lose. Still haven't seen them lose.
Defenses played really well.
Best quarterback in the league.
Offenses had moments. You know, you saw early on.
I don't like how the NFL be promoting Taylor Swift and stuff, but she has you on a chokehold, bro. She has you on a chokehold.
He did converted a crucial 4th and 1 in that first half. Made some huge plays. That 4th and 1 could have been a touchdown. He had a chance once he got out of there to score.
I was actually surprised he didn't break away.
Me too.
Didn't you think maybe he was gone? Whew.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about National Football League, and defenders aren't just letting you get away.
No, I understand.
You got some corners out there running.
They got Snead. They got Snead out
right.
there.
But they played really well. But you know what I said? I've told people to temper expectations. I was sitting there in one of these forums, these open forums with Baltimore fans and Chiefs fans, and Baltimore fans were saying they expected it to be a double-digit blowout win. They were like, hey, this is probably going to be easy. They don't stop the run well. We run the ball well. And I said, hold your horses. Usually with Kansas City, you're talking about a middle-of-the-road defense for, kind of fringe top 10. Not this year. This year, they're top 3 defense. They're 2 in scoring. Spags has been calling an unbelievable game, especially as of recently. He's been doing a phenomenal job, and Chris Jones in those playoffs is a menace, and he wasn't the only one. Minahu had a huge strip sack of Lamar Jackson, and I was worried about Lamar Jackson holding the ball potentially too long. He did it in the Houston game, but against a young Houston team, you can get away with that. You can get away with some mistakes and make up for it, but with a veteran championship Super Bowl champion team, you're not going to get away with that, and he didn't. And that's what I expected. I expected Patrick Mahomes to show up in a big way. He definitely did in the first half.
In the first half, he did.
Right. And, I looked at this game, and I thought it was a case on both sides where your greatest asset became your greatest liability.
I mean, Lamar was doing
Lamar Jackson's greatest asset all year as he sat in the pocket. Man, he looked great sitting in the pocket. It became his greatest liability. I thought he should have had 150 yards rushing yesterday. And I'm talking about on the low end. If he just gets out, when they kept closing that pocket in on Lamar, he just waited and waited. Now,
I don't think him running would have been able to win
when he did this in the regular season.
That's what I told you. I was concerned about him being able to throw the ball against this squad.
This. Let me tell you why. I believe in a regular season, we play the possession. You play a series at a time. You play the possession. People even start out with the top 15 because that's a possession.
I don't accept Lamar saying he's the second best quarterback in the league.
But when you get to the playoffs and you get to a championship game, you got to play each play. You got to play each play. And I thought in the Baltimore Ravens games, there were times where I can easily run and get this first down, but we made it harder on ourselves, or they made it hard on themselves trying to make certain plays, throwing the ball. Right here, right now. And I used to get mad at Donovan McNabb about this a little while ago when he was playing. Like, I want you to be able to sit in the pocket. But if Tom Brady and Peyton Manning had your legs at those times, they're gone. Stop trying to do them to your demise. And I thought Lamar Jackson did that to his demise yesterday. I know we talked about it all year. You did a great job, but right here, let's go. Go get a first down. Don't try to wait on these big plays, trying to sit in the pocket and scramble. That's where they lost the game. You know, Lamar Jackson in the Baltimore Ravens, down plus 10. They're like 0-28. Since 2013, you can't come back plus 10. You put up 7 points. Sherm, you talked about it when we talked about an MVP. I didn't even like the way this started. You know what I mean? This game started. You got to be able to make plays in these games if you're going to be considered one of the greatest. And this was one of those games that Lamar could have taken
It was looking so good, and now
forward. If a huge leap forward. And it was right there. And you put up 7 points. We could talk a lot about how they came out.
That was Mahomes so far above everyone.
Did y'all see in the pregame, right? Patrick was warming up. Patrick Mahomes warming up. Justin Tucker was over there.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce.
I'm trying to poke the bear, bro. Like, what are y'all doing?
I was waiting on, hey, Justin Tucker, go get your guys and come back. I'm not saying fight, but let them know this is our house. This AFC Championship game is in Baltimore. You don't get to choose where you warm up here. You are in our house. They came to Baltimore house and took it. That's my issue. I said to my guys yesterday on the set, I said, man, it's like somebody coming to your house telling you where your pots and pans are. Are you joking? They came and took it. They were not ready to meet the intensity of the Kansas City Chiefs early on in that game. They looked just like we were talking about, like they were going to walk through this game. There was a championship football team, and they came to prove to everybody who they were, and they did. I thought Baltimore would, I knew the defense would hold them up, but I knew you would not stop him. But 17 points by that defense, by defense holding you to 17 points, that's all Lamar should have needed to win this football game, and he did not.
Are you saying that Lamar in the second half was trying to prove a point to a fault?
To a fault, no doubt, no doubt. And Sherm even alluded to it because he was right. I was going right there. I kept saying, get out and run. Let me tell you something. That second game, with Lamar Jackson, what we've talked about, passing and decision-making. Did you see the decisions Brock Purdy made in that second game? He gave you one hit, two hits. I'm out of here. I got to go. This pocket is closing. I didn't wait on it, and he ran and got crucial first downs with his legs.
He ran for 21, 10, and 21 down the stretch. Took the game over with his legs.
With his legs, not just his legs, his decision-making also on winning the goal. And that's where Lamar lost his game. I needed him to be able to make better decisions and go. And he could have put some points on the board, and they did not.
All right, Richard Sherman, it's my turn. You beat me out of 3 dinners on this game, 2 on the outcome of the game, and 1 on Pacheco. I said he wouldn't run for more than 50 yards. I will say I took the bet that you jumped on because I wasn't even sure Pacheco could play because they said his toe was so bad he was very iffy. So I thought, well, at least he'll split carries with Edwards-Helaire. No. And not only did he not split carries, Edwards-Helaire had 1 carry the whole game, but Pacheco goes for 12 on his first carry. Well, I'm up against it after that. But guess what happened after that? He goes 23 more times for a grand total of 56 yards the rest of the way. So you were a little lucky that you barely got over the total on that one. But I give it to you. You still owe me 1 dinner for this season overall, but you got me yesterday 3 times.
You stopped paying attention, Skip, and we talked about this earlier in the year. There was a stretch in there. You made multiple dinner bets about the Dallas Cowboys winning 2 or 3.
You think there's always a dinner bet on every game, but it's if you have to call it, you have to take it.
Don't worry.
You owe me 1 dinner for the season, but that's okay.
We'll pull up.
Back to this game.
You actually owe me 2 dinners, but it's a story for a different day.
That is revisionist history. That is complete delusion, but it's okay. Now, back to this game. It tore me apart to have to sit and watch this happen.
Damn.
Travis Kelce is still Travis Kelce. And clearly, he's everything to Patrick Mahomes, especially in a game of this magnitude. That defense was number 1 for a reason. It was very well coached. It was incredibly well schemed. They trick you. They do everything but guard Travis Kelce when you have to in the first half because they were much readier to play. And Mahomes is like, you're going to give me that? You're going to give me, oh, wait, you give me that? He threw him 9 balls in the first half, and he caught all 9 for almost 100 yards. And that touchdown pass to Travis was a thing of chemical beauty because it's one of the greatest rapports between a quarterback and a receiver we've ever seen. If we can see the touchdown, it's just beautiful. It's a little back shoulder.
Right.
Corner route. Okay, beautiful. Okay, and that made
Cal,
it.
Great coverage by Cal.
All right, so that made it 7-0. And then all of a sudden it jumps, and I'm saying, boy, Richard's got me now because it's 17-7 at half. At which point, the Baltimore defense said, that's enough, not in our house. And in the second half, they gave you a tour de force against Patrick Mahomes because if my numbers are correct, Patrick Mahomes' offense threw for a grand total of 69 yards in the second half, and that includes the last throw of the game that went for 32, the lob up to Valdez-Scantling that killed the clock and ended the game, right? So if we take that throw away,
he had
36 yards if we take that throw away in the second half. And they went 3 of 9, did Kansas City, on third down, and clearly in the second half, Kansas City had the ball 5 times, except for the last possession, 5 times, and they punted all 5 times because they were going nowhere slowly. That was the Baltimore defense I wanted to see in the first half, because in the second half, Travis Kelce caught 2 balls for 20 yards, 2 balls for 20 yards. Okay, he was non-factor. He did not hurt the home team at all in the second half. And Lamar Jackson threw 25 passes in the second half, completed 15 of them. But the point was, it's a one-play game, because all you won the second half 3-0. But if you'd gotten to 14, I believe the home team would have won. So now we get to the crucial sequence. If we can see what happened with Zay Flowers. I know Michael wants to address this, but first we got the taunting penalty on the longest play by Baltimore in the game. It's a 54-yard blown coverage. It's just a busted coverage throw, wide open to Zay Flowers. And
go. Keep going.
Keep going. Yeah, I think he had him.
He had him.
Stayed outside. And he taunts L'Jarius Sneed.
But he had to first push him off of him. Yeah.
I think it's a little much, but the rule is the rule, and that was
blatant
taunting if that's the rule. But you don't agree
pushing
with
him off
rule.
him while he's kind of holding his leg just a little bit.
This is blatant taunting.
Right, it was all right, but then I guess throwing the ball at him.
I hate this rule because I play an intense game also. I like people that play an intense game. I'm not trying to show people up. I'm trying to raise me up and raise up my teammates. And I get up and be demonstrative, and you want to call a penalty. Now, Travis Kelce did something similar to Kyle Hamilton when he scored a touchdown. He kind of got up.
He was into it the whole game. He was
right, and he was yapping and talking, and that they didn't give him a penalty. Yeah, I thought that was a little tight for the situation.
Yeah, go ahead, Richard.
I think it's a penalty. You know, I think you've done so much to this game to protect these offensive guys. Yeah. And if you're going to sit there and let him push him off, toss the ball on him, flex over him, and you're not going to let us take his head off, then you better call that, because then the game's going to get out of hand, because we're going to crush his spirit later on, but you're going to give us 15 for it later on. That's why I'm in agreement. You want to control the game and not get these kids hurt. Then you call the taunting, because otherwise somebody's going to take it in their own hands and they're going to wake him up and send him to the sideline to the blue tent. And so I'm good with him keeping the game under control by calling.
If you call it on Travis Kelce, I don't have an issue too. I mean, then we're calling that straight and that clean.
That is
true. But don't give me one side and then give me another side when he does it. That's just,
Michael, my only problem with this was I wasn't sure what Zay Flowers had to taunt about, because it wasn't like he smoked him on the route, right? I mean, did he? I don't know. It's just a busted coverage. He's just wide open. It wasn't a great taunting opportunity, but he took it. And you know what they say about karma? It's, the B word, getting back at you. And L'Jarius Sneed, who was snubbed for the Pro Bowl, he quickly made up for it at the goal line, because he stripped Zay Flowers at the goal line. And this is the play of the game.
For sure.
Nice throw by Lamar.
It's good to not even try to get the touchdown, just go down.
I thought he was in. I thought it was there. And L'Jarius sneaks his right hand in and gets the football on the nose, knocks it free.
There.
Yeah, it was. It was just a great strip.
That's why football is one of those sports. You can't, before you get it done, it's hard to celebrate. It's hard to do everything, because it'll get you back every single time. And you play into the end. This kind of defense, I don't think the Ravens came in with enough respect for these guys. Right. I mean, obviously, they had a tremendous amount of respect for the Ravens defense, and those boys were flying around. I mean, there were plays where guys got hit 4 times before they turned around. But I don't think that the Baltimore Ravens gave this Kansas City Chiefs defense that kind of respect. And you could kind of hear it throughout the week. You know, this is going to be dominant. This is our day. This is our time. You know, when you start talking about that, like, these guys aren't one of the best defenses. Usually when you're playing against great defense, you hear about it. Man, they're such a great defense. You hear about L'Jarius Sneed, Chris Jones. They've been here before. This is some of their best ball, et cetera, et cetera. You didn't hear any of that throughout the week. And that's how I kind of gauge, these guys really don't have a ton of respect for this Kansas City Chiefs defense. At least they're not outwardly saying it, and I've heard them outwardly say it when they do have respect for guys.
All right, so, Richard, you can call me Bayless if you want to, but I believe if Zay Flowers hangs onto that ball and crosses that goal line, and it's 17-14 with a whole quarter to go, I'm saying I just think I think Lamar is going to figure that out.
Yes. Different game. It's a different game. It's a different game if you do that. But how do we get to that different game? Baltimore players have to understand each play is crucial. That was 2nd down. 2nd and 8. So if I don't get in the end zone, I still get a first down. You saw the marker right there. You get a first down. You don't put that ball in harm's way. You got to protect that ball. That's just the game.
Playmaker, when is the only time you reach the ball over the line?
It's 4th down, and I need this touchdown for the game. That's the only time I'm putting that ball and exposing it like that. It was 2nd down there. If I don't get the touchdown, we're going to have an inch to go to get that touchdown. You don't expose the ball. And those are the little decisions that I'm talking about at this point will cost you a game. I don't know. I love John Harbaugh. I love him. I think he's a hell of a coach. But to let Travis Kelce go 11 for 11, it's almost fireable.
Yeah.
Are you joking? It's Travis Kelce.
But see, this is where I got problems.
I don't care if I break my defense. I don't care if I break all the rules in my
defense. It's been a minute.
You ain't going to beat me. I'm going to see if the Kadarius Tonys, who they had in and all those guys, the Van Der Scanlon, can you win a whole game? Not just make one play, but can you win a whole game? Because I'm taking Travis Kelce out. That blew my mind.
But this is what I'll say. Every week we sitting on here talking about Todd Monken and Mike McDonald and the great job that they're doing. So now we can't just throw it on John Harbaugh and say, man, what is John Harbaugh doing?
No. I put that on Lamar. I put it on Lamar, sitting in the pocket too long. I gave Lamar. I took his flowers anyway because I give him his flowers all year. But that's on Lamar. That's not on Todd Monken. Lamar has the ability to go make those plays. Stop trying to be Patrick Mahomes and be Lamar Jackson right here that's playing Patrick Mahomes. I wanted him to get out and do some running.
Okay, but on Todd Monken.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, here's the other thing. Remember, the Ravens led the National Football League in rushing at 154 yards a game. Why would Todd Monken completely abandon the running game, the called runs, because in the second half, they had a grand total of 3 running back carries for 8 total yards because they basically just said, Lamar, stand in the pocket, make one big throw, and win this game.
Right.
And he just kept going Browns away. Yeah, go ahead, Richard.
I thought he did it by himself, Skip. I thought he didn't need no help, Skip. I thought his running backs pretty much didn't exist and that this is the MVP and they go as he go and no, they don't need anybody else. But now all of a sudden you're telling me they should have been giving the ball to Gus Edwards. So you're telling me now they should take the ball out of the MVP's hands
giving the ball to Gus Edwards and company.
I fully understood that, Skip. I understood that the whole year. I watched him play. But I was told he did it by himself. So the Baltimore fans told me, along with you, that he's the MVP, and they are nothing without him, and nobody else did anything.
Everybody told you he's the MVP because he's the runaway MVP. Right?
Exactly. But then you just told me, oh, man, this game where the MVP could have took over, you should have given the ball to the other guys and run the ball to the other guys. I hear you, Skip, but what I'm telling you is the same thing I told you all year. He had 10 games where he had 1 touchdown pass or less. 10 of the 18. He had 10 of the 18. And so when you go into that and you see these games and you tell me this is the MVP and it's a runaway and he's just been so dominant.
He did not have an MVP game yesterday. He didn't have a terrible game, but he didn't have that kind of game. And real quick, let's look at
if Brock Purdy had that kind of game, you would have said he turned into a pumpkin. I'm not hearing
shaky.
Let me ask a question. The 10 games you're talking about, are you saying without a TD pass or without a TD period? That's not right.
Yeah.
You talking about
I'm saying where he had 1 TD pass or less. Either had 1 or 0.
All right, so let's look real quick at the 2 throws to Odell. He's trying to break the game open.
And let me say this before we go.
Who cares about those?
It went too late to Odell. I was talking to Hafiz. I said, man, you got to go outside. They were pressing outside, so finally, and they didn't take enough shots outside.
He had no targets in the first half.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, let's look at the first throw. It's 10:21 left in the game. This is a deep ball from the 11-yard line.
And if they call that in the playoffs, then
he's holding, he's grabbing his arm. He's arm-barring him just like Deion did to you. But the ball is 5 yards too far. All right, now let's look at
this play. Let me just explain this play here because Odell's a little older now. Now, the old man, should stack this dude.
Yeah.
That means get right back in front of him. Right when he gets around, get right back in front of him.
Okay.
The young Odell could run away from that dude.
Yeah.
The older Odell should stack him and make him run up his back.
Okay, now look at the next one to Odell in the end zone. This is from a red zone throw into the end zone. Same idea. The ball's just a little far. If you drop this into the area where the interference, it's another one that could have been called. It could have been called, but the ball's just, it's so
Looking
far
back
over
at
that it becomes
there was maybe like
irrelevant.
1 or 2.
It's almost like I don't know if you watch playoff football
Definitely not the
because
Lakers.
they're not calling either one of those things in the
Okay.
playoffs.
All right.
They're letting them play.
And then finally, let's look at the last one that gets intercepted.
There you
It's
go.
right after
That's
this
on.
throw. He's grabbing him the whole way down. Okay, so this is the last one to Likely in the back of the end zone. It's a terrible idea.
one wasn't.
It's almost triple
That one
covered.
deserved to be
Yeah, but Likely gets knocked down in the back of the end zone. In real time, I didn't think it was a big deal. And then I look at the replay, and he just gets knocked down. He gets knocked out of the play. Could you call it? Well, the ball's not there. It's so far underthrown, it's not even in play for Likely at that point.
Well, I think it's underthrown because Likely broke his route. He threw his hand up.
He did. He threw
and
his
with
hand
that hand right there,
Yep.
I'm thinking maybe was he supposed to curl or something, and he just decided to go deep, and that's why Lamar's late with it because he spotted it and tried to hit it.
Yeah.
But here again, it brought me back to my thoughts. Stop trying to hit a home run.
You're trying to hit a home run.
Play
Home run,
every
home run,
play
home run.
in the playoffs.
Yep.
That's how this game gets. When it gets tighter down here, and you guys can't make those mistakes. To turn the ball over in those situations, you're going to lose the game.
All right. We got to talk about the other
it.
game in a moment. Richard was there on